How are you feeling about its stand alone on the national stage? It's magnificent, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it's a good opportunity for us. I think the Len Hall tribute match and Anzac Day adds to it as well. I think the club does a great job at that. So I love the ceremony before the game. And it's obviously standalone, big crowd. Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Can you take much out of last year's great finals win, and also about the slow starts? Because even in that game, you started slow, didn't it?
Yeah, well, we need to fix slow starts, and something we've tried to trigger internally for a while now. And I think, we were slow start at quarter time on the weekend, but I think we were 8 or 10 points up with 3 minutes to go in the quarter. So we actually started pretty well, and we've actually jumped out of the gates okay the last probably 3 weeks. Just the scoreboard hasn't reflected it. So just need to stick to the process. But what we've got a lot of fight in the group, and we've got a lot of belief that we can come from anywhere and make a game of it. So there's a lot to build on in the second half last week.
What did you do to help them start quicker? Do you lift your rating early in the pre-match, or is there something?
I've tried that. I think it's just about making sure we're really clear on what a fast start looks like. And I think we can build off our second half in the way we approach the contest and pressure and the chaos of the game. Maybe early in games, sometimes we expect it to be perfect when it's not a perfect game. So, we're going to have to embrace the chaos of the game this week with the way the Dogs play, but I think that's what we need to do to start well.
And do you go with Sean Darcy mostly doing the rucking? I noticed Jackson did hardly any of it.
Yeah, it was probably the fact that he's given us such a good target down forward and kicked a couple of really important goals. But it's more than that. It's the contest he gives us, it's the follow up he gives us in the forward line, and obviously Sean was getting right on top in the ruck and giving our mids first look as well. So, like I've said all along, it'll be a case by case, week by week situation. With who plays more ruck minutes. There's been times when we've started Sean forward and Jacko in the ruck, so we'll just keep weighing that up.
Have you seen some sort of week by week improvement with those two guys and how they're connecting with your midfielders?
Yeah, absolutely. I was always going to take a little bit of time for Jacko to find his feet playing with new players, and I think as a forward he's he's embracing the forward craft and getting better at his reactions and the options he provides as ball carrier. And I still think there's a lot of growth in the way we can help him out and kick to his advantage and set him up for success with the way we kick the ball to him. But I feel like those two are gelling really well, and they've got a good connection to be able to flip whenever they want and understanding of where they need to be in the game.
How important do you view that battle with English this week, and I guess some support from them?
Yeah, it's critical. They're a really good stoppage team. English has been in fantastic form. His ruck craft is strong, but his ability to get around the ground and be a support behind the ball and in front of the ball is critical as well. So it's an important part of the game.
Are you tempted to chuck Jacko in against him Thursday?
Oh, no, not really. We'll just probably play normal, I reckon, with Jacko starting forward. I think a big part of our success is clearly being able to bring the ball to ground at worst in our front half and allow our forwards to get to work. And Jacko plays a big part in that with the contest he's been given us. So, and Sean's been in pretty dominant form in the ruck, so it makes sense to start like that.
Brody, back in the 23, obviously starting as a sub, but came on fairly early. How did you see his performance?
I thought he's getting back to where he was last year, and largely that's on the back of making sure he brings his strengths to the game. So he's able to win contests, be really tough around the ball, and then we saw a bit of his spread from contest as well, and he had some big plays which led to scoring opportunities, but it was off the back of him bringing his strengths and that being in the forefront of his mind. So I was pleased with the way he played, and to be honest, I was pleased with the way he handled getting dropped. I think he went back to Peel and played with his strengths at front of mind, and obviously won a lot of clearance and contested ball, and his attitude set him up for that game. So he earned his spot back in the side.
he in consideration to come into the 22?
Yeah, he will. Yeah, he will be in consideration. It's just whether we want to go with the same structure we started with last week or probably the extra mid. They're the things we're weighing up at the moment. So we haven't made that call, but we will, and yeah, Will be in the mix.
How do you cover the loss of Sam Sukowski? Lockie Schultz said yesterday that he's ready to go if he needs to get chucked back into the midfield.
I saw that headline. Gee, 1 centre bounce, and he's calling for a midfield spot. I think he said it best yesterday was the fact that he plays his best footy as a forward, and I think Switter's been playing his best footy as a forward and been using him with hits on ball, and Shooter can do that. He went in for a centre bounce on the weekend and we won it, he told me. So we'll keep trialling those things to give us a bit of a different look and different energy around the ball. And like I said, we probably played the extra forward last week with Sturdy in the team. So, yeah, it's a bit of a balance of whether we need to go with the extra forward or the extra mid.
Who gets the match up on Rory Lobb, of course, coming back in for Western Bulldogs?
Yeah, our backs will mix and match like they do every week. Be either Piercy or Coxie. They tend to take the two deeper talls, so it'll be the same as every week.
Don't know, this is a bit of a hard question. Don't know if you've been made aware, but Lobster's Tears is the new beer that is on offer, brewed for the occasion of Rory Lobb coming back. Have you managed to have a taste yet?
No, that's the first I've heard of it. And, it's the first I've heard of it, so not sure what's behind that.
The Purple Army looks like they're gearing up for a big welcome. How do you feel about that? You just leave it up to them, it's their decision?
Oh, it is. Never going to sit here and tell our fans how to respond. They pay their money. They're passionate about our club and they can respond in whatever emotion they like for mine.
And Caleb, and so can you talk us through Caleb and Andy? So Caleb has almost gone to another level. Andy, is he been a bit injured or does he cop the tag? What's been the difference?
Well, it's probably a bit of both, to be honest. He's copped the tag earlier in the season, first 2 rounds. He's working his way into the season. I think he had over 30 possessions last week, and then the Gold Coast game he had less possessions but more impact. And I thought we saw some of Andy's ability to really test the tackle and burst from stoppage and burst from contest last week, which set up a lot of good play. And I think Caleb's just carried on his form from late last year, where he's been able to get on the front foot with his physicality and his ability to hunt the ball. And he's just had a great pre-season and growing from that, I suppose. He's a really consistent performer on and off the field, and what you see on the weekend is what you get during the week from both of them. So. And
his bond, is he a unique challenge for you, or do you put much time into him?
Oh, well, you have to. Like it's been probably undersold, his influence on games throughout the first 5 games. I think at one stage last week he had 9 of 19 clearances. So only good players can do that. And his ability to get around the ground's pretty impressive as well. So, we'll put some time into him, of course. He's one of the best mids in the comp.
Obviously, the little injury and tags factor into Andy, but what's it been like for him sort of trying to back up the season he had last year and all the accolades that came with it?
It's a bit of a burden of expectation. And probably felt it a little bit as a team, as a collective, but individuals have got their own expectations, not only externally, but expectations they put on themselves. Most AFL footballers are there because they're high achievers and they want to be their best every week. And when you don't live up to that, it can be a bit of a burden. But I've seen a really positive, connected version of Andy. And like I said, the last couple of weeks we're starting to see some of his better form. So it's not all about possessions either with Andy. It's about what he does with them. And like I said last week, I thought there was some real burst from stoppage and he made his possessions count. Obviously hit the scoreboard with a nice goal and those sorts of things, which in the end lead to us winning. So it's not really about possessions. It's about, the outcome from those possessions.
Matt Johnson kicking the go-ahead goal late on Friday night. You must have been pleased with how he handled that occasion. Fair bit of pressure for a third gamer.
Yeah, it was great. Like, first of all, for Jai to take that mark and have the composure to find someone in a better position, and then for Jono to go back, go through his routine, keep it nice and simple, and kick the goal was great. And I think he earned his spot to come into the side as a starter, and I think he's just going to grow every week. He's had a good start to his AFL career.
We saw a couple of players over the weekend rubbed out for dangerous tackles. Is it something that you're addressing this week, and or have players come to you to kind of get some guidance?
Oh, yeah, we probably haven't done any technique stuff. We need to talk to our players about the double action. I think it's the double action that the AFL are looking for, and it's a double action that lands players in trouble. And it's a difficult one because we don't want players to stand up in tackles and be able to get the ball out. So sometimes it takes double action, but we've got to be really careful. So we'll keep investigating and keep talking to the AFL about the best ways to do that. But overall, I think it's a good crackdown because we're protecting the players' heads, which needs to happen. We just need to make sure we educate our players the right way and talk to them about the right things.
Have any of the players themselves brought up the kind of question?
Not really. No, not specifically to me. But we've touched on it briefly. But it's something we'll continue to evolve, and it gets to a stage we need to practice it. We need to go to those lengths. So as something that's a bit different in game versus training, because naturally at training we don't tackle our teammates to ground and that sort of thing. But in a game you need to at times. So we need to find that balance.
Could that come in footy where they don't take them to the ground, Charlie? Do you reckon they just go, it's not worth it?
Well, it could. Yeah, I think it could. The challenge is that sometimes players are so strong that if they stand up in tackles, they can get their arms free and get it out. So, it could be where the game goes, though. We'll need to keep evolving and keep making sure we make it as safe as we can for our players. So,
Feels like that's what Lockie Schultz did. It was amazing, that breaking that tackle, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, talk about trying to take opposition players to ground. We try and stand up in tackles as much as anyone. And, the ball security that Shooter showed in that moment was first class. So was able to test the tackle and create a goal out of it. So that's what we want to achieve on one side of the ball, but we want to make sure we stick our tackles on the other side of the ball.
What did you like about Corey Wakeman's first game for the club, Justin, and what he brought to your game style?
Yeah, I mean, we had a bit of a shaky start, obviously, with ball in hand, and I'm most impressed with the way he was able to put that aside and at quarter time and reset himself and continue to execute his role post quarter time. I just loved the proactivity he brought to us. He's led his man to the ball, and he plays with great energy, which is infectious. And not just in offence, but in defence, he's able to chase and harass and stick tackles and lifts those around him.
Is he staying the same this week?
Oh, we haven't finalised the team, but I like to give the guys a couple of goes. Yeah,
it's tricky, isn't it? Because Nathan Wilson, he looked good in the field.
He did. Yeah, we talked about Will before, about guys getting dropped and handling it the right way. He handled it the right way, went back, was probably our best player. So, it's just whether we give Wags another go or Wills comes in, but we'll work through that later.
You mentioned earlier covering the loss of Sam Strakowski against the Bulldogs. Is there the option of perhaps going with a smaller forward line, or will you look to stick with three talls? Or
probably stick to the same forward line structure as last week. Yeah, we thought earlier probably didn't work for us. So we're able to take a fair few intercept marks, but we think we can position better than that and be able to give ourselves a contest at worst. So we'll probably stick with the same structure.
You mentioned Nat Fife is unlikely to play this weekend. Is getting some boots shipped in from the US. Does that kind of show how desperate he is to get back on the field?
Oh, yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Like he'll go to all lengths, and he's a bit frustrated by this because he's had such a good pre-season. But we're fingers crossed we're on the right path, and we're getting closer. And once he gets back, he'll be able to have a extended, prolonged, attack on the season. So all's not lost yet. But it doesn't surprise me that he's going to every length possible.
is he getting to the stage where when he comes back, you probably have to play in the waffle?
I've said it plenty of times. There's a number of different ways we can do it. We can train him to get him up to a level. There's the sub option now, which is viable. Yeah, and then waffle. But we'll cross that bridge when it comes.
Conversation with Jai Amos. I mean, he's kind of filled a pretty important role for a young kid. What has impressed you about him, and also what's the probably expectation that you have of him as a key forward, but being so young?
Oh, my expectation is he continues to learn and build from each game, and each experience he gets. I've just been impressed with all aspects of his game, but most importantly, his temperament. He's got a real even temperament that makes me believe and have real confidence that he can play anywhere, anytime. We brought him in for the final last year on the back of the fact that we just knew what we were going to get from him. Loved his contest last week. I think he took 4 or 5 contested marks. He's able to pick the drop zone up really early, and he's getting bigger and stronger in the gym. He's putting a lot of work in, and we saw him be able to hold his ground and push even some of the more experienced defenders out of the way last week. And we know that when he gets opportunities in front of goals, he's going to be pretty reliable. So he's progressing well, but he's got to learn from every experience and keep building his game.